favorites to draft running back Ashton Jeanty. Here's the thing, is I never buy into this. You can't draft this position at this round. I've always said, go draft a kicker. They'll end up being your first or second leading scorer. You can't draft a kicker. Belichick drafted kickers. I never understood that argument. Rams went and got a kid from Stanford. He's real good, helps wins games. I don't get it. I don't have a problem. If you go look, since 2017, the last 12 running backs selected in the first round, there's not a lot of whiffs. Rashad Penny was a whiff, but it was late first round. And all of them drafted in the top 12, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Fournette, Christian McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott, all good players. So here's the other thing. The Raiders were last in rushing last year. Secondly, when Pete Carroll won big in Seattle or USC, he had a star running back. Third, if you're going to go pay Chip Kelly $6 million a year to be your OC, you better prioritize your run game. So I think in this draft, when you get into the first round, especially in the top 12 to 15 picks, you take the best athlete available. Now, there's two athletes in this draft that are considered elite athletes, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. There's an argument this kid's the third best athlete. Go get him. Okay, it's a division with Herbert and Mahomes and Andy Reid and Sean Payton and Bo Nix. How do you keep the ball away from great offensive coaches and great quarterbacks? You run the ball. Time of possession. Take a lead and let Max Crosby feast. So you can't lean into Geno Smith to outduel Herbert and Sean Payton and Mahomes and Reid. You can't. But what Geno Smith is really good at is play action. He's top 6 quarterback in the league. Geno's a big, tall guy with a good arm. And if you give him a run game, and that's, by the way, the Raiders gave the Chiefs trouble last year. So that's why I don't have to love Geno, but I really love this fit for a couple years. And I don't have to love running backs in the first round, but I think this is a really good pick for the Raiders. Pete Carroll has always been of the mindset, I want a quarterback throwing on play action, pass rush, good corners, run game, take leads, and let your defensive front take over.
Okay, so essentially football. I've always been about, running the ball, play action, having your defense step up. It's like, yes. So football. Getting the lead in and not giving it up to win games. Yeah, I really think that this doesn't need to be any more complicated than it is, right? You get the best player that you think is going to have the most amount of impact today. That is who the Raiders are right now. They're not trying to figure anything else out. They're not trying to think 15 steps ahead. They're not flushed with talent and high level decisions from the past in terms of like a track record where they can really move and shake and make moves that not a lot of other people are seeing, or they're really aggressive in like a very unique way. Just take the best players. You're building something. You're in the process of building. You need to build a foundation. Now is not the time to necessarily take risks. So if you think Ashton Jeanty is the best running back, now this changes if you don't really think that he's, that he'll be great in the NFL. That's a different discussion. But if you think he will be great, if you think he is a beast and he will be able to ball in the NFL, then you just don't complicate things. You just go out and get him. You don't try to play this whole game. Well, we found that, we get a running back in the second round and this. No, you don't need to do that. Again, if you had a stronger foundation of a team, if you already had like a really, really special 25-year-old quarterback or something, who's like beginning his prime, if you've had a coach and a coordinating staff that's been there for years, and again, you've been making high-level decisions for years, sure. I'm open to a lot of that stuff. But kind of take a page out of the Detroit Lions page, when they were kind of rebuilding and trying to be like, hey, we're no longer a trash organization anymore. They just got the best players available. They didn't do anything crazy. They just got the best players available. The teams that tried to get all fancy in the draft, the Arizona Cardinals. And I remember specifically their ex-GM going on Colin Cowherd and being like, yeah, we learned that we can draft this guy in this round and this guy in that round because of this, that, and the third. Didn't work out too well for them. Sometimes it's just draft the best players available. Again, if you are incredibly high run, if you have this awesome foundation of a team already, sure, then you can start to get a little bit more unique in your process. But the Raiders aren't there yet. They're not there yet. And the name of the game right now is to right the ship, is to be competitive. And the other day, Nick Ray, I think it was Nick Ray. It might not be. So if it wasn't Nick Ray, I apologize. But kind of talking about how having a running back won't really matter that much in that division because these defenses. And actually, well, I don't think it was Nick Ray. I think it might have been on NFL Live. And I was just like, that's such like an absurd take, quite frankly. And you can make the argument that for those 4 teams within this division, the team that has the best run game, the team that has the best run game and defense will just win the games. More so than just the quarterbacks outdueling each other. Because we've already seen the Chiefs lose to clearly lesser quarterbacks like Aiden O'Connell in that division, right? I praise Bo Nix for playing awesome in Arrowhead, but he's not better than Patrick Mahomes. So you can make the total argument that that if you really double, triple down on defense, and really can just slow down even just a little bit of the Patrick Mahomeses, the Justin Herberts, the Bo Nixes now, and have a great run game, yeah, that is going to put you in a significantly better seat and allow you to play significantly more simpler football and ideally lead to more wins at this point. If we look at how the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs, it's like that's not everyone thinks that that's kind of a playbook. Oh, get after Saquon, get after Patrick Mahomes, and and you're gonna win the game. And it's like, no, you still need incredibly high level offensive play, and that run game was taken away, and then you needed perfect pinpoint football from Jalen Hurts. You needed beautiful throws, back-breaking throws, and back-breaking runs, where he had to beat the spy, where he had to rip off 20-yard runs. Like, not everyone can go do that. Go ask the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. So it takes different ways to win different games. And I just think that considering what we've seen the Raiders be able to do, because again, I think you got to just focus on how do you get out of the division, and then once you figure that out, then it's just like then you can start moving beyond that. But the truth is that this division is such an awesome division that if you make it out of this division, by definition, you're a really great team. You're a really good to great team. And if you can beat the Chiefs, then you can beat the Bills. And if you can beat the Bills, you can beat the Ravens. And if you can beat the Ravens, you can beat the Rams, the Commanders, etc., etc. So, I really think that the Raiders should just be very simple, very straightforward. Just get the best players. Because also, and this is also really important, you have to trust your coaches too. You have to trust the Pete Carrolls, the Chip Kellys of your franchise now, that when we give our team the best guys, we have the coaches that are going to be able to continue to grow and evolve and make those guys great. That they are going to know exactly what needs to be done to maximize these guys immediately. That's also what you're trusting right now. You're not trying to build something out of nothing. You're just like, dude, we got the coaching staff. Just give us the players. Give us the ready-made players right now. The ones who can have an impact today. We don't care about the future right now. We're talking about today. We're not talking about trying to take some risks in the draft and try to draft someone in the second or third round and who we think is maybe available, but maybe they're not available. And maybe we think we can get like 90% of the production of it. Just get the 100% production. If you think you can get another running back and get, in the second or third round that's like 90% of Jeanty, you know what? You're not in a position to try to get someone who's 90%. Go out and get the 100%. Go out and get the 100%. Because they got an extra 10%, the Eagles, from Saquon, for when compared to Miles Sanders or compared to DeAndre Swift. It was a massive game changer. It was an absolute massive game changer. Do you think the Chiefs would be significantly better if they had Saquon Barkley? I think so. How about the Bills? I think so. How about the Raiders? I think so. So just don't complicate it. Don't complicate it. Don't try to be the smartest guy in the room. If you think Jeanty is a beast and will have a massive impact in the NFL, I don't care what the rules are. Like, well, you're not supposed to draft it. I don't care. You just draft him. It's that simple. And like I said, and I'll leave that for a different conversation. If you don't think Jeanty's going to be big time in the NFL, and you think that he's not going to be that great of a running back or won't have that much better of a career than some of these other running backs, again, that's a different discussion entirely. I'll leave that up to y'all to try to figure out if you think Jeanty will, be a beast in the NFL or not. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Raiders' favorite to draft a running back in the top of the draft? Ashton Jeanty. What type of impact do you think he'd have with the Las Vegas Raiders? And do you think this would be a good draft pick? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.